another episode of Tell It to the World. Now we're here in downtown Orlando, and as our custom is, we're giving out the great controversy, the National Sunday Law, the Sabbath Track, and Radiant Living. Now our topic for today is how a Florida woman is being barred from holding Bible studies in her condo complex, and how our First Amendment rights are slowly being stripped away, as prophesied in the Bible. So stay tuned and see what the people have to say about this one. Welcome back again. Today we're here in downtown Orlando, and I have with me today
Taylor.
Taylor, how are you doing today, Taylor?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So let's get right into the interview. Now, Taylor, in your own words, define for me the word freedom. What does that mean to you, the word freedom?
It's a good one. Well, free to do whatever you feel like doing when you just free, you know.
All right. Well, let me hear.
Uninhibited by anything. No.
Uninhibited?
Yeah. Whatever you feel like doing, you're just free to do it.
All right, good.
Al, in your own words, define the word freedom.
Freedom is the ability to make your own mistakes, and the ability to learn from them and grow.
All right. So let's look at a dictionary definition, right? It says, according to the dictionary, the word freedom means the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So what are some of the freedoms that are granted to us in the First Amendment of the Constitution?
The right, freedom of religion, free speech, to be able to practice without government intervention. Yeah.
All right. So we'll just add a few more there. So we have the freedom to assemble peaceably, the freedom of petition, and freedom of press, along with the freedom of religion and the others that you said. So this is an article that recently came out, and the headline says, from Fox News, Bible study, Christian music banned by Florida Condo Association. So I'm going to just summarize this. It's saying that a Florida woman by the name of Donna Dunbar, she filed a federal complaint after her homeowners association in Cambridge House condominiums in Port Charlotte. It barred her from continuing to host a Bible study in the common room of the condo complex where she lived, right? So also, this is what it said on the organ. Can you read that for me, please?
The bottom part here.
Yeah, the two sentences.
A sign was even placed on top of the organ in the community room saying that any and all Christian music is banned.
So what are your thoughts on the owners of the condominium complex banning residents from having Bible studies?
It's a violation of the First Amendment, and it's discrimination.
Crazy. That's definitely a constitutional violation for sure. She should be able to express however she wants in condo areas, the main area. If it's not reserved, you're supposed to be allowed to do whatever you want there at that time. And especially since we have freedom of religion, I find that ridiculous. And they should definitely get sued.
Yeah, I would just wonder if they would do the same thing for anyone of any religious beliefs. I personally am a Christian myself, so that would be pretty upsetting to me, especially if it is in a common area. I do think that is impeding the First Amendment right for the freedom of speech. They're allowed to hold a group in that kind of area if it's a common area of the apartment complex.
Okay. Now, even prior to Dunbar being able to continue to hold Bible studies, they told her that she eventually had to just get insurance so that she'd be able to even continue the Bible studies. Now that she did, now it also says here from the Christian Post, it says, no other groups that use the common areas are required to acquire insurance for their meetings, according to the First Liberty Institute, which is a legal group that helped to represent her. But after disputing the need for insurance, Dunbar went ahead and complied with the demands so that the weekly Bible studies could continue. So seeing that is actually taking place, it even continues to explain this. It says here, well, do you mind reading this for me, please?
Yeah, so it says the complaint explains that the resolution does not ban groups from meeting in the common rooms to discuss secular books, movies, or sing songs that are not Christian, but prohibits Dunbar's group from doing those activities simply because it is in a Christian nature.
Exactly. So it's Christian in nature. So let me ask you this one question. If management allows residents to play poker, any card games, dominoes, or anything that is secular, like movie nights, and sing whatever secular song they desire, don't you believe they should also allow people to have Bible studies if they wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems kind of contradictory. Why even allow gambling, poker, things like that, if they can't even have their freedom to discuss something wholesome?
So let me ask you this, Matt. If management, allows residents to play poker games or have movie nights or have card games in the social room, shouldn't they also allow residents to hold Bible studies?
That's tough because some of the things that you mentioned are more leisurely activities. When it comes to religion and business, that gets a little stickier. So that's where I kind of feel that it would have to be an all or nothing kind of thing. So if there's going to be religious gatherings, whatever the religion may be, either they all have to have that insurance or none have to. Like you can't say one particular group has to have something that the other particular group doesn't. So if it's a leisurely activity that doesn't involve either politics or religion, because that's when things get really fishy when it comes to from a business standpoint, as a business owner, you really have to not isolate or like I said before, alienate any one particular group. So you either have to have that rule for everyone or have it for no one. You can't just have it for one particular group that's doing a particular thing, because then that becomes an obvious bias.
So Jessica, let me ask you, if management allows residents to play poker, to do any type of secular things that they want to do, watch secular movies, read secular books, and have a secular book club, don't you think that they should also allow the Christians to be able to have Bible studies if they wanted to?
Yeah, definitely. It's just like something we all enjoy. They enjoy Bible study. We enjoy like watching a regular movie.
Okay. So why do you think that many people of today are just why do you believe that the Christian beliefs of many people is becoming so offensive to many people when it comes to them and their secular beliefs? They think that the Christian things are very offensive.
I'm not sure about offensive, but I think they might find them like kind of loud. You know what I mean? Just like Christian people aren't shy. They definitely praise the Lord loudly and they're not ashamed of it. So they just don't hide. So I don't know why it's ashamed. Like that's not a problem to me or like most people I know. So I'm not sure why they're getting all the bad press.
Now, why do you think, from your opinion, as you've seen things transpire in the world, why do you think that Christian beliefs and practices are offensive to people while secularism is accepted?
I think people just don't like the truth, and I'm a Christian myself. I believe Christians have the truth, and they're really trying to silence those type of people, trying to ostracize them from society. And so they claim they're doing this by basis of freedom, and they call Christians bigoted and being fair. But honestly, what they're doing is the reverse. They're really being bigoted and discriminating towards Christians while putting their beliefs. If it was truly free, if they truly believe in all ideas, then they wouldn't mind Christians practicing what they believe. But apparently they're trying to pick winners and losers.
Now, do you know what the Fair Housing Act says?
The Fair Housing Act? No.
All right, so here it is right here. Can you read that for me, please?
The Fair Housing Act protects people from discrimination when they are renting, buying, or securing financing for any housing.
So according to the Fair Housing Act, the leaders of that condo, they discriminated against Dunbar's religious meeting, especially since she lived in that condominium, right? So do you believe that our First Amendment rights are under attack today? Some of them, as we said, the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and so on. Do you believe they are under attack?
Yes.
Do you believe that the First Amendment freedoms in this case were being under attack in her regards?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's crazy that she is not allowed to have freedom of speech, freedom of religion in this apartment complex. And I would say that regardless of what her beliefs are, I wouldn't care if she was Muslim. Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, I don't care what she is. That's her First Amendment right in America. She's allowed to sit in a common area and talk about whatever she wants.
Now, Savannah, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but even the Jehovah's Witnesses down in Russia are not even able to have Bible studies in their own homes. So being that something of this nature has happened not too far from us here in Port Charlotte, actually, do you think that this will happen here in America eventually?
Yeah, because it's already happening, and I've heard of stories like this before. I've heard it affecting people of all sorts of beliefs, but I think it's just going to continue to increase in number.
Okay. Now, as we see events like this are just taking place so very commonly as of now, because we heard of it happening in Russia and even not too far from us there in Port Charlotte, that these things are just taking place because this is showing us how Christ is very soon to come. And it even says in the book of Revelation, as you were talking about earlier, in the book of Revelation chapter 13, it says that soon America will be putting plans in place to be able to restrict the Christians' rights, and eventually they will be persecuted because of their standing firm for Jesus Christ. Yeah. Now, what we're going to do, Savannah, is leave you with the article that speaks more about what happened in the case of Donna Dunbar, and leave you with a gift that shows how history is being repeated. And I hope you enjoy it, because I see that you're very studious, so I know you know you know your Bible. Thank you. Alrighty, so thank you so much. Do you have any last comments to leave us with, Savannah?
No, I think you guys are doing a good thing by trying to figure out what other people's points of view are and just kind of spread the word about incidents like this, because I think the media really does suppress stuff that happens like this when it's not something that's in their favor or something that they want to expose. It's something that they want to stifle. So I think people who do things like the YouTube stuff like this is really good to get the word out on incidences like this.
Well, thank you so much, Savannah. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Another perspective to look at, Matt, is I'm not sure if you've heard, but a couple weeks back, even a couple months back, a similar case or scenario happened to the Jehovah's Witness in Russia, where they also were barred from, holding Bible studies, even at their homes or even at their buildings. And even still now, they're still going through a lot of what's happening. They're being barred from, going house to house, holding Bible studies in their homes and in their facilities. So do you think that something similar to what's happening in Russia to the Jehovah's Witnesses can occur here in America?
Man, it's hard to say what can and cannot happen here, but I don't think it would go to that extreme because we actually have the legislature that says that we have the right to assemble, right to practice, our own religions. Of course, what's written down isn't sometimes executed in real life. However, at least since that is documented, there is something that we can point to and say, hey, this isn't right because we have this document from over 250 years ago that says that we can do this. You know what I mean? So I don't think it would go to that extreme here. However, if you look at America's history, every group has had some kind of persecution for their, religious beliefs or racial or racial connotation or sexual connotation or whatever, so hard to say that it won't, but I think it would be less than likely.
Okay, so as we see, Matt, these events occurring as the one that is occurring right now in Port Charlotte, even in Russia, as we take a different perspective look even at the Bible in Revelation 13, it prophesies and tells us that those who continue to hold on to biblical truth, to biblical beliefs, without wavering, standing for truth, even Bible truth, upon God's word, those people will have their rights stripped away and eventually be persecuted. But what we're going to do for you is leave you with this article that speaks some more on the subject, a little bit more on the topic that we just discussed, even the article, and this gift here showing how history is being repeated. So we just want to thank you so much, Matt, for taking the time out to interview with us. And do you have any more comments for us?
No, I appreciate it. You guys are trying to do a good thing, and I can always appreciate that. And you guys look like you have a group of people that really care about what you guys are doing. So, I didn't mind giving you guys a little bit of time for that.
Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it again. All right.
So do you believe that our First Amendment rights are under attack today?
Absolutely. They're under attack. People are just discriminating towards Christians. They want to eliminate them from society. And, Christians have to stand strong and know what their rights are.
Now, one thing you may not know is that even now in Russia, Jehovah's Witnesses, for instance, they're banned from having meetings in their homes or even worshiping publicly. Their property is being taken away because they're being labeled as an extremist group. So with the scenario similar to this going on even now in our state, Port Charlotte, do you think that what's going on in Russia will happen here in America soon?
If Christians remain silent and they don't advocate their rights, it potentially could happen. I think so.
Now, Al, as we look through the lens of the Bible, we see that as this event is transpiring, even now in Port Charlotte, where religious groups are being banned from worshiping freely, according to their First Amendment rights, the Bible tells us in Revelation 13 that those who continue to stand for Christ and for his truth one day will be persecuted, and that our rights will be stripped away from us. And so what we want to do today is we want to leave you with an article here that speaks about this subject and also a gift showing how history is being repeated. Do you have any other comments?
No, thank you for this interview. It really informed me. I didn't know this was going on. So,
all right, we thank you so much, and I hope that is a blessing to you.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Tell It to the World. As we see that our religious freedoms are being taken away, let us make sure that both you and I stand firm on Bible truth. Join us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page. We'll see you next time.